There, my name's Johnny. I am a travel writer, journalist turned tour operator, and I have been working on a unique itinerary for iconic journeys worldwide. This particular route is one that's very special to me. I've done it many times in the past, but we've put a different slant on it for iconic journeys worldwide. It's an extraordinary journey from the ancient Buddhist kingdom of Ladakh down across the high Himalayas to the fabled travel destination that is Kashmir. The route itself starts in Delhi, flies up to Leh, the capital of Ladakh, where you'll find this ancient Buddhist kingdom with wonderful old monasteries on the side of these hillsides. Ladakh is a mountain desert region. It's in the rain shadow of the main Himalayas, so the monsoons from the subcontinent don't really get there. Therefore, you have this incredibly dramatic beauty of high mountains with snowy peaks, lush valley floors, but very dramatic colors, barren mountains all around. And of course, the Buddhist people that live there punctuate this amazing landscape with their extraordinary architecture, their monasteries, their homes, all perched on the sides of the hillsides. So the journey starts in Delhi. Now, the capital of Delhi, I'm sure many of you will have been to. It's a vibrant, buzzy place, changing today, of course, as most of India is. But in the old town where you'll visit, you'll still see some of the old world, how Delhi used to be, with the old Jama Masjid mosque and the bazaars and the narrow alleyways. You'll also see Lutyens Delhi, the Delhi that was built for the British Empire, with its magnificent, huge governmental buildings. From Delhi, you'll fly over the Himalayas and into Leh, the capital of Ladakh. Ladakh, as I've said, is an ancient Buddhist kingdom, and it's one of the most dramatic places in the whole of India. The Himalayas, it's a kind of mountain desert area, high mountains with snowy peaks, lush valley floors, and the rest surrounded by these dun-coloured, majestic mountains. And of course, punctuating all of that is the extraordinary architecture of the Buddhist Ladakhis, their monasteries, their homes, which make for wonderful juxtaposition between the harsh mountains and their beautiful, colourful homes. From Ladakh, we'll go over the highest motorable road anywhere in the world, the Kardung La, which takes you at 5,600 meters into the Nubra Valley. Here you'll travel up along the Nubra Valley, seeing small isolated monasteries, really a remote place. This is an extraordinary journey. If you could carry on along the old trade routes, which they were, you would cross the border into Pakistan and a place called Skardu. Of course, you can't do that these days due to geopolitical situations, but it's still an extraordinary place. From here, you come back over the pass and then head down over the high road, we call it, to Kashmir, over the Zojila, which is a 4,000 meter pass, through a place called Kargil, before finally entering the Vale of Kashmir. What's wonderful about this trip is the two kind of contrasts. On the one hand, you have Ladakh, which, as I say, is a high mountain desert region populated by a Buddhist group of people, but then you come down over the Zojila, over this high mountain pass, and you come into a much more alpine, much more lush area of the Kashmir Valley with lakes and pine forests and stuff, and that is populated by a predominantly Muslim population. So the journey is an amazing trip between two places which we've put together for iconic journeys worldwide. About the accommodation. The accommodation on this trip is of a very high standard, pretty much throughout, with a couple of little exceptions. In Delhi, you have a lovely 5-star hotel called Claridge's. You fly over into Leh, where you stay at another gorgeous local hotel, but very pretty, picturesque, called the Shangri-La. From there, going over into the Nubra Valley, the quality drops a little bit as you stay in a local guest house, but again, it has good beds, good facilities, ensuite bathrooms, showers, etc. You come back over the pass and you stay in Kargil for a night. Kargil, again, the accommodation is of a 3-star standard, so decent ensuite, but nothing too fancy. But when you come down into Srinagar, this is saving the best till last, as you're staying on the most beautiful houseboat that's ever existed in Srinagar. The Sakun houseboat opened last year, and it's just a beautiful, luxurious, The quality of the service there is fantastic. The food is delicious. The location overlooking the whole lake is magnificent. And that's going to form a real highlight. When the British ruled India, they weren't allowed to own property, so what they did instead was build these houseboats, and now there are 2,500 of them around both Dal Lake and Nagin Lake, and you're going to be staying on the very best one. As far as security is concerned, what we've seen, we've been helping people organise trips to Kashmir for 10 years now, and the security situation has been improving really every year ever since. This year particularly, things have calmed down. There was a local election that took place in January. That's all finished now. Everything's back to normal, and there should be no problems with security. You're going to be joined on your trip by 3 specialists who will give you a real insight into Kashmir, Ladakh, Buddhism, and the local handicrafts of Kashmir. First of all, you're going to have a journalist in Delhi who will explain to you about the recent issues with Kashmir and its separatist desires from India. That will be followed by a very famous Buddhist monk who will give you teachings in the whole ways of the Buddhist world up in Ladakh. And finally, in Srinagar, you'll be taken on a tour by a wonderful woman called Renuka, who is a specialist in textiles in Kashmir, and she will show you the full ways in which the pashmina is made, created, and ultimately sold. So this is a true trip of a lifetime. I know that expression gets overused rather a lot, but in this case I really think it's true. Combining the specialists of the region with the best accommodation in the region, taking a route that is just one of the most amazing routes in the whole of the Himalayas, if not the whole of the Indian subcontinent, combined to make this a really unique and fascinating journey for iconic journeys worldwide. If you're sitting on the fence, my advice is to get off it and go. You won't regret it. It's an extraordinary adventure.